What's up, Amazon sellers? Today, I'm going to be sharing with you everything you need to know about hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. In fact, in the content today, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things that I've learned on hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant, which has helped us grow a team of 74 virtual assistants. Stay tuned. If you are new to this channel, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and I've been selling on Amazon now for the last 5 years. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller in the UK and also in the USA. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you, number 1, what is an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? Number 2, I'm going to be talking about why you should hire an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. Number 3, I'm going to talk about where to hire an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. Number 4, I'm going to be talking about how to interview Amazon FBA virtual assistant. And finally, number 5, I'm going to be sharing some thoughts with you about, is it worth hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? Let's get started. So first things first, what is an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? Well, quite simply, this is going to be someone who performs various tasks and activities related to your Amazon business, generally remotely. This virtual assistant, they can help you in your business by finding products that you could buy low and resell high on Amazon Marketplace, or maybe administrative tasks like shipment management, inventory management, product listings, FBA orders, customer messages, and so much more. Now, one of the things which I will say is if you are interested in learning about the tasks that I've outsourced in my own business, I have created a free download that you can get right now called 15 Tasks to Outsource to Your VA, and I'll drop a link in the comments down below. Get that. It's going to help you understand things that I've outsourced in my own business that you too can outsource as well. Okay, quick question for you guys. What tasks are you thinking or are you currently outsourcing in your business? Let me know in the comments down below, or maybe it's something you're struggling with and maybe struggling with a role to think of it. Let me know and I can obviously give you my thoughts and feedback as well. Let me know in the comments down below, what tasks are you outsourcing right now in your business? Okay, so why should you think about hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? First things first, there are 2 main reasons why Amazon businesses fail to move forward while others succeed. Generally speaking, the ones that I've seen on my journey is quite simply, number 1, as business owners, we try and do everything ourselves. Now, this just isn't helpful. There are a lot of tasks in our business we can actually hire people and get them to do, and as a result, we can focus on revenue or profit generating activities that really drive the business forward whilst hiring other people. The other one is the fact that because we're trying to do too much, we actually get dissatisfied and, or should we say, we get frustrated with our business and we get burnt out. And the net result is that we start doing less and less and less and we start to hate our business. And there are generally 2 main reasons why hiring a VA or hiring someone to help you with the business can really help your business grow and make it more sustainable. Now, in this chapter, what I want to be sharing with you are some snippets from interviews with other Amazon sellers who I know have been very successful about why they decided to hire virtual assistants. So check this out.
I kind of realized at a certain point, like, I'm delegating with softwares, I'm delegating with other things. I had a employee listing my books when I was doing books for a while, and with online arbitrage, like, you need some help. And even if they're doing it 60% of the ability that you're doing it, that's not you spending the time doing all this stuff. So it's going to end up saving a lot of time, and it's just going to be a net positive for you in the long term.
To be perfectly clear, Thomas, when I first started doing the eBay to Amazon, I was doing everything myself because I didn't know how to do it the correct way. So I did all the sourcing. I was sourcing for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I was doing all of the listing. I was doing all of the shipping. I have VAs now who do all sourcing for me. Like, I don't source at all anymore unless I'm just bored. Even the listing process, I've outsourced that about 70%, which I could share. It's kind of a little gangsta method that I've developed to have VAs in other countries help me to list physical products. But to be truthful, man, like, I just got burnt out. Like, some people can do it. They can work 8 to 10 hours a day, and I applaud them, man. Like me, like, I'm ADHD, like, I get bored easily. Like, the biggest problem always for me in my business is me getting in the way of the business. Like, I have to figure out ways to get the hell out of the way. Like, honestly, like, I'll have conversations with myself like, Steve, put a system in place and get yourself out of the freaking line of fire, man. Like, you're the one who's always holding this business back. Every time the business has to rely on me sourcing or rely on me shipping, I just think with my personality, I'm not trying to be hard on myself, but like, I have a hard time staying consistent, like doing the same thing over and over again, just because I think I get bored, or maybe social media pull. You know how it is, man. Like, when you're an influencer and there's always some exciting, shiny object. But the thing is, when you find something that actually works and you provide value to the market and you're making money, you want to try to systematize that and create processes to take yourself out of it. If you choose to, I'm not saying you have to to get yourself out of it. But dude, every single time I would have to rely on myself for a long period of time, I'd screw it up. And I'm just being real. It's not easy to say.
I'm 100% with you. I say it to myself, I'm the biggest liability within my companies.
Now, this leads me nicely on to where to hire an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. Now, maybe by now you've decided that hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant is going to be a good option and something you want to consider. The next question you might be asking is, where do I actually go to hire an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? Now, to help answer this question, there are going to be generally 3 places I'm going to consider or recommend for you, and I'll talk through each one, but this is for hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. Now, the first place I'll talk about, and I'll highlight them first and then go into more detail, but the first place is going to be a freelancer marketplace, which is ideal for, should we say, gigs or actually per job or per task hires, or perhaps maybe you're looking to hire someone yourself on a more permanent basis, but again, it'd be the DIY approach where you're doing the whole end-to-end process on your own. Now, the second option is going to really be an Amazon virtual assistant agency, which are going to be for sellers who want, should we say, someone to do it for them. They're going to be experts in what they're doing, and this can be great for people who are starting out. Why? Because you're quite simply going to be copying other people's processes, and you're going to learn from experts who do time and time again, and obviously they generally have like a guarantee behind them as well of success. Now, the third one is going to be referrals. Quite simply, this is going to be recommendations such as through sites such as LinkedIn or even community groups. I'll talk more about that in a second. Let's go into a little bit more detail behind them. So let's start with the first one, freelancer marketplaces. Basically, freelancer marketplaces are generally online websites or platforms whereby a business, you, can find and hire freelancers or virtual assistants to do work remotely. Now, what I will say is that there are generally 2 types of freelancer marketplace options that you're going to want to consider. Now, the first type is going to be, should we say, the job advertisement type. Basically, whereby you are going to advertise the job that you want to do. Now, this could be, should we say, a small job, or maybe you're looking to hire, for a fixed period of time, or perhaps maybe you're looking to hire someone on a more permanent, ongoing basis. And you're going to be looking to find a freelancer, an Amazon virtual assistant with the right set of skills by posting your job online or your advert. Wait for the virtual assistants to respond to your post. Now, what I will say is that do expect to go through hundreds, maybe even thousands of applications, which may or may not be a good choice for you. Now, for example, in my first job that I ever posted, I had about 250 applications, which was incredible. My first job post, which I was like, wow, that's too many to go through. Now, to give you an idea of the types of job advertisements at platforms that you can use, these are things like online jobs, for example, and that's going to cost you about $69 per month to advertise, and you can use that, or perhaps maybe you can use other sites such as like Upwork, which is going to charge the freelancer or virtual assistant a percentage of their earnings, between 5 and 20%, depending on how much you pay, but you don't pay anything for that. Now, generally speaking, onlinejobs.ph is where I started out, and it's great for a freelancer marketplace where you can find virtual assistants that are either part-time or full-time or even task-specific. While Upwork tends to have more freelancers which are based on a contract basis, and they're probably not going to be more ongoing long-term. So thoughts to consider there. Now, the second type of freelancer marketplace that you might want to consider is gig types. This is where you have a specific gig or a specific task that you really want to, say, achieve, and you're going to be looking for a freelancer who can meet that task. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go onto the website and you're going to find a freelancer who's posted a job or a gig whereby they match what you do. You can then browse all the different freelancers, see what kind of jobs or gigs that they offer, and you review them, see how many jobs they've had, what's happened, and then you can hire that one that best suits your needs. Basically, you don't need to worry about creating a job posting, but the virtual assistant you're going to be hiring is going to be posting their skill set, and then you're going to be looking at them. Unlike, should we say, the previous example is whereby you're advertising jobs. Now, to give you an example of gig type websites, again, this is going to be like, should we say, Upwork. They also have, should we say, freelancers and virtual assistants who are going to advertise their skills. But also another website is called Fiverr, whereby they post their jobs, what they can achieve. You can literally review them all and then just choose the one that you want. Now, for Fiverr and Upwork, these tend to, should we say, be focusing more on hourly or flat rate projects. And again, the platform is going to take a percentage of the freelancer's fee. There is no upfront cost for you. Now, I've just talked about, should we say, the 2 types of freelancer platforms, and it's up to you which one you want to choose. But the one thing I would say is, regardless of the platform you choose, you probably want to have some documentation in place, a contract, we say, which is going to agree agree what you expect and how that needs to be delivered. Now, the one thing which I will say is this is just going to add more work to you, or don't worry, I've saved you time. I've already created a job description and a contract that you can use. I put it in the description down below, and it's a free download that you can get today, which is a free contract and job description, which you can use for a gig type, or you can use them for a permanent employee. This is something that we use within our own business, and you can use them and edit them. It's going to really help you out. So check in the description down below and download that free content today. Now, the second place to think about hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant is through an Amazon virtual assistant agency. Now, Amazon virtual assistant agencies are generally going to be an online agency that provides, should we say, different types of Amazon virtual assistants for your business. Basically, you don't have to go through the trouble of writing a job description, advertising, interviewing each application. These agencies are going to do the whole end-to-end process for you. It's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort in finding a VA that matches your examples. Now, for example, in these agencies, they're generally going to be experts in hiring and what they do, and they've done it time and time again, and they can show testimonials and reviews from their customers about the experience they've had. And also as well, they'll generally have like a guarantee or a refund policy in place, which is going to protect you as well, and it's going to save you time and take the pressure off you. Now, the one thing I will say is, talking about agencies, is if you're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant for your arbitrage business, do look no further than Fast Track FBA VA Academy. This is a service I created over 3 years ago, whereby we find, hire and train virtual assistants to support you in your business. Now, quite simply, we have been doing this for the last 3 years, supporting Amazon sellers based on our own SOPs, the way we operate in our business, and helping other people do the same. We've hired over 550 VAs for over 300 clients, and we've had clients come back for not 3, 5, 8, but even 15 VAs. Why? Because it works. They understand that their time is more important developing and growing the business than it is learning the skill set behind, say, hiring, interviewing, doing all that. That's what we're experts at, and we can help them grow the business. We also support them with our 3-month money-back guarantee. If they are not happy with the VA, and if you're not happy with the VA, and you're not happy with the results, you can get 3-month unlimited replacements, or you can get your money back, no questions asked. Now, that is an agency that's really going to support you. If you're interested and want to know more and want to book a free call, check out fasttrackfba.com/VA, or I'll drop a link down in the description. Trust me, I think you'll love it. Now, the third and the final place to hire a virtual assistant is quite simply through referrals. Now, referrals are one of the easiest ways to find and hire a virtual assistant, simply because you can ask your network of friends, or should we say existing employees, or even go through recommendations, whether they be on social networks or through friends, to find someone to work for you. Now, to get referrals, you can join, should we say, Amazon-related Facebook groups, maybe LinkedIn or Slack, and post what you're looking for, a simple description, or maybe even browse what they're currently advertising as well, and see what people recommend, if there are any VAs that they recommend. This can be very, very helpful for you in speeding up the process. Now, the one thing which I will say about referrals is just be careful about who is actually doing the referral. Make sure that the person who is referring them you know and trust, because it's very easy, and we see it time and time again, where, if you say, one VA might refer another VA, by the way, both VAs have no experience in what they're doing. So just make sure that the referral comes from a recommended source, and also just be mindful of where the referral is coming from. For example, we've seen it many times in Facebook groups. If you're looking for a VA whereby maybe they only work for you and they don't work for anyone else, we've seen, should we say, statistically speaking, a lot of VAs in Facebook groups advertising their services generally work for more than one client at the same time, which obviously can have a detrimental impact upon the results that they can get. And even if you're working with sensitive information, such as, say, Amazon product information or Amazon leads, this is going to be detrimental to your business. So be mindful of that. Now, this leads me nicely on to how to interview an Amazon FBA virtual assistant. Now, in this chapter, I'm going to be sharing with you a video that I recorded about interviewing Amazon virtual assistants, and it's generally their most asked questions for an Amazon virtual assistant interview. Basically, I give you a quick rundown of my analysis for each video and why they failed or they passed, and my thoughts behind it. This is probably one of my most watched videos, with I think nearly 100,000 views, and I give a real in-depth insight into how I do the interviewing process. So check this out.
First question I'll just ask is, tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are.
For my work experience, I have been in the call center industry here in the Philippines for 9 years, 4 years as a customer service representative and technical support representative, and then 5 years as a communications and product specific trainer. for 2 different companies. And then I've also had virtual assistant experience as a freelancer or a part-time. That's for Amazon and eBay.
And you said how did that work with managing your children? Because you said you've got 2 kids and you're a single mum at the moment.
I really don't know how did I manage it. It's just that I really have to do 2 jobs in a day. That's the reason why I'm even also shocked that I was able to do that. So after my office job, I would log in first and check if there are any questions or unanswered inquiries, and then if there are any orders are fulfilled, and then after that they'll have to be on mommy mode.
Okay, so let me just ask, how did you find the test?
Since there is already like a video tutorial, I just follow the instruction and it's actually just okay. It's just really easy if we base it on the video tutorial that I watched.
The test is very, very representative of the work you'd be doing. And I'm going to be honest, it's boring. Like, it's not the most exciting. How would you be with that?
I really didn't find it boring because it's really challenging, especially that you really have to make sure that the item that you're looking at is the same as the item that you're trying to find in Amazon.
What I'll do is I will get back to you Monday or Tuesday next week, and we'll let you know if you're successful or if you're unsuccessful. And then from there, obviously, we'll let you know the next steps.
Initial thoughts on her, really. Yeah, I liked her. I thought she's good. I've got no problem with her. The fact that my only one concern would come for the fact that she had $28,000 per month. She was getting $5 an hour in a part-time job, and now we're going to be offering her less. That's a concern, because it basically means she might be looking for another job. But I'd just say it's something to be careful of. But on the flip side is to say that she was working on site and she'd have travelling costs, and now she's going to be at home and have flexi time. So there's an element there. But she's aware of the Amazon process. I'm not saying she's done Amazon sourcing. She's had 2 contracts ended quite recently, but she's had long-term jobs with them. So I like stability in that. She's a stay-at-home mum. If we can give her flexi time, that's really going to work. And she talked about the test not being boring, and even talked about the differences in like the labels, which was quite nice to see. So she picked up on that. So generally nice person, seems to be right. Interesting enough, on our time test, she did really well. So definitely happy to put her forward. Quite liked her. That's my feedback.
So look, I've got your CV. I think just tell me a little bit about yourself and the work that you've done.
Before my first job, I didn't actually graduate from college because due to money constraints, I just had I was until 4th year college level. Then after that, I worked in a coffee shop for around 2 years as a supervisor. And then after that, I came back here because I was working in Cebu. And then I work as an accounting clerk. And then because I got pregnant, got married, a lot of things happened. So I actually studied baking, so I can spend more time with my kids while having a business on the side there. Sometimes business is not that not stable because of the baking business, a lot of competition. So that's why I was looking into online career. That's why.
Why not expand the bakery business?
Actually, it's a plan, a long-term plan to actually make a store myself, like have an actual bakery. But for now, it doesn't. It's not yet possible. But hopefully.
Why?
Due to money constraints. I mean, it's not yet at that time. A lot of bills to pay first, and after that, when all is settled, I have 3 kids. Actually, I have 3 kids. I just mentioned the 2. I have 3 kids, and I'm still for educational plan like that. I'm just still preparing those things while they're young. Well, it's still cheaper. They're young. So when it's all paid, I think that's the time that I'm gonna start with that one.
Quick question for you: when you're during the peak months of your bakery, how many hours a day do you have to work in it?
That's very tiring. A very tiring work. Actually, I have to. In December, I don't get enough sleep. Like I have to work at 10 to 12 hours or more than 12 hours. During December, I don't get enough sleep. Like 3 hours, 4 hours sleep because I have to prepare this one, that one. Then.
Thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back to baking, and I'll be in contact Monday or Tuesday next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. So another interesting interview, and look, oh my God, like where do we start?
So admittedly, she hasn't worked for a while. 2017 was her last job, and I'm not against people who have not worked for a while. By her own admission, she'd been raising children. That's fine. I'm really not against that. I think, look, one of my big questions whenever we meet these kind of people is, what's your motivation? What are you trying to do? And it's just quite interesting in regards to like just asking them, you know, there's a big rule in interviewing. The interviewer should be talking 10% of the time, and the interviewee should be talking 90% of the time. And hopefully you kind of see that in what I do. I just ask really open, probing questions and just get them to talk. So what was really interesting, and just reading my notes, is number one, she forgot she had a child. She said 2 children initially, and then she had 3. That was quite funny. It might be like a half child, I don't know. We kind of talked about money, like what's the reason you're doing it, and that was a big sticking point. Her pay expectations are way above what we're paying. That's immediately for me like, hey, are we on the same page here? Because that's red flags, i.e. I'm going to hire you tomorrow, I'm going to put this job forward to you, I'm going to train you up, and then all of a sudden, it's not going to be all of a sudden, you're going to accept this job, and then you're going to go look for another job because you need more money. Interesting how she talked about her business, long-term plans, she wants to grow that business, but right now she's got bills, and I'm just thinking, hey, I'm going to ask you to work 8 hours a day. Why don't you put 8 hours a day into your business? Surely that's going to have more value. You're already getting 30k out of it in a peak month. Admittedly, you're not getting that much in your quiet months, but build it up, you'll get there, and it'll be more worthwhile. But what was really interesting was, you know, just the fact that we asked the probing question, hey, during your peak months, how many hours do you have to work? Her own admission, 10, 12 hours a day. On top of that, she's only getting 3 hours sleep. Then the question comes is, my God, if I hire her, she's now going to work 12 hours a day in a bakery because that's her priority over this job. Second of all, she's going to work 8 hours for me, and she's only getting 3 hours sleep at the moment when she's not working a job. That doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And also as well, in those 8 hours she's working for me, is it going to be viable? Is it going to be that she can get quality work done and produce the results? Or is she literally going to be there for 8 hours, half asleep, not getting the results? Well, I just don't think it. I don't feel it myself. And so because it's not a yes, it's a no.
Now this leads me nicely onto my final chapter, which is it worth hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant? Now look, as an Amazon seller myself, who's been selling on Amazon for the last 5 years, I've got about 74 VAs, and we kind of up and down, and that's running 3 companies, and they're all remote, you know, and I've built 2 7-figure businesses, and I've supported many other sellers as well. What are my thoughts on hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant, and is it worth it? Let me share the thoughts now. I think quite simply, I couldn't have achieved what I've achieved today without building a team. I know that for a fact, and if you look at any company, no one can do it on their own. And by the way, I talked about it earlier, burnout is a real common problem we have as entrepreneurs building our business. Now, hiring a team, especially hiring a team virtually, is so beneficial. Why? We are getting people to help and build our business. And number 2, by doing it virtually, we're able to take advantage of the lower cost of living in other countries. For example, I have a large team in the Philippines, and the cost of living out there is a lot less than what it would be in the States or in the UK. And the net result is that I pay less wages, and it means my business is now more efficient. Now, I absolutely love this. Why? Because I get to work online, I can still travel, all I need is a laptop, and I can keep building my business. But also as well, my staff in the Philippines, they can also work online. They can work from home, it really benefits them. They can spend time with family and their loved ones, and they don't have to travel in, like we say, the traffic in Manila. So it's a win-win situation. Now, on top of this, one thing that I also think about is whenever I'm doing hiring, sometimes I'll look at gig, or should we say task-based, but they're very short-term, like something that I need to do that will never really happen again. But the majority of the time, I'm probably going to be looking to hire permanent. And I'm going to want that member of staff to work for me full-time, and I'm going to want for them to be employed only by me as my company. Why? Because quite simply, you're hopefully going to be growing your business, and you really want this person to become invested in your business. Now, long-term wise, that person is going to learn a skill set, which is going to add value to your business, and you want to retain that skill within them. So for me, and I recommend it to everyone who's thinking, generally hire full-time and permanent, because you want to retain them in your business, and you want to train and develop them, and they're becoming another asset within that business, which is going to help you grow and obviously help scale your business. Now, what I will say is, after understanding everything you need to know about hiring an Amazon FBA virtual assistant, you might want to consider watching the full video I created called How to Interview Virtual Assistants. These are my live interviews, and I'll put them around here. And again, it's probably one of my most watched videos because it goes into so much detail about how I do it, the questions I ask, and why I do it, and what my answers are. Now, hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, do hit the thumbs up and hit the like button. And hey, if you think someone needs to know about this video, do hit the share button and drop them a link. I'd really appreciate that. And finally, if you want to learn more about my business and my journey, hit the subscribe button. Now, from myself, Thomas Parkinson, Fast Track FBA, thank you very much.